Hello and welcome to the Maynard H. Jackson Jr. International Terminal at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Today we are flying across the pond to London Heathrow on one of Delta's Boeing 767-400s. Atlanta's dedicated international terminal and the associated Concourse F are located on the east side of the airport complex. The terminal is by far the smallest of the seven, but what it lacks in size it makes up for in quality. The main arrival hall features an open floor plan, plenty of clean tile, a massive chandelier, and of course a Porsche on display. Flipping around, we find a variety of shops and restaurants with a bunch of comfortable chairs for waiting passengers to relax in. There may be plenty of seats still available, but with our super late departure time, there aren't many people around. Our flight this evening is departing out of gate F12 on the north side of the terminal. The unfortunate positioning of this gate means that we can't really get a good look at our aircraft before boarding, and with the sun long gone, any angles we can find are too dark to truly appreciate it. The one thing that is very easy to spot is the Fly Delta Jet sign just peeking out from behind the parking lot. Our flight over to Atlanta from Austin was fairly uneventful, riding on board one of Delta's Airbus A321s. It may have been a wet departure, but the sky cleared up once we reached cruising altitude, providing us with a gorgeous view of the sunset ahead of our touchdown in Atlanta. Boarding announcement is soon made for our 10 p.m. flight to London, and after a quick ticket scan, we can head down the jetway to meet our aircraft. We're seated today in seat 41G, a window seat in the mid-aircraft exit row. Passing the partition, we reach our row and can get settled for the flight to London. Exit row seating on Delta is, as expected, amazing. There's a ton of space to get comfortable with my feet nowhere near the wall in front at full stretch. The door to the side does limit our lateral movement a bit, but it's a small price to pay for the extra legroom. The usual seat back pocket has been moved to the wall and holds the safety information cards and sick bags for both seats in our row. The tray table is located inside of the central armrest and folds out easily across the seat. It's quite small for a tray table and slopes downward on the wall side of the seat, which can make eating a meal quite annoying. The Inflight Entertainment screen is also located in the central armrest. Pushing the tab towards the front releases the screen, which can then be pulled up and rotated into place. The screen boots up almost immediately and is fairly large, including both a headphone jack and a USB outlet. We'll have a look at the full suite of entertainment a little later in the flight, but for now we'll store the screen back in its cubby. The light and attendant call buttons are located on the inside of the central armrest. Air vents are also located above each row just in front of the lights. Below the seats is a single outlet and USB port for charging. It would have been nice to see one for each seat, but it is what it is. Seat adjustments are made using the button on the inside of the center armrest, which reclines the seat back another 4 inches. Seeing as this is an international red-eye flight, Delta provides complimentary pillows and blankets to passengers. The pillow is fairly large, but it's quite soft, giving way to just the slightest of touches. The blanket is actually quite large, covering around 80 to 90% of my body. It's made from a fairly basic fabric though, which can be uncomfortable on the skin, but it does provide a good bit of warmth on a cold aircraft. The window for our row is located just to the side of my shoulder and provides a great view of the wing and the ground below us. Before we push back from the gate, the crew comes through the cabin to distribute the travel kit and earbuds. The earbuds are the usual Delta Studio buds, the quality of which isn't great, but it's better than nothing. The travel kit is a new one for me. The front features a gorgeous picture of Amsterdam's canals, the contents of which include a Delta eye shade and a pair of earplugs. Boarding soon concludes and our aircraft pushes back from gate F12, taxiing out to runway 9 left for departure. As we reach the end of the taxiway, the rainbow lights at the domestic terminal poke out above the parking garage, bringing some vibrant color to an otherwise dark night. Our aircraft rounds the final turns onto runway 9 left and begins its takeoff roll for this 8-hour and 10-minute flight to London. Lights of the Atlanta suburbs fill the window as we make our ascent, though they're soon blocked out as we reach the low-lying cloud cover. As we reached our cruising altitude of 35,000 feet, our cabin crew came through to begin the dinner service on tonight's flight. Before our meals were served, the crew provided each passenger with a bottle of water and a cutlery kit. The water was standard stuff, but the cutlery kit was pretty cool. Sliding the sleeve off the wrap, we can unroll the cloth cover to find a pocket, inside of which holds a napkin and our cutlery, all of which is notably made out of bamboo. Each piece of cutlery also features a little Delta logo etched into the bottom of the utensil. The crew soon came back through and handed out our meals. For dinner tonight, I chose the cheese ravioli, which came with a barley and squash salad, plus a lemon blondie for dessert. The salad was okay at best. It had almost no dressing whatsoever, leaving it bland and flavorless, but at least it was fresh. The main dish was much nicer. Aside from the 2 pieces of broccoli that looked like an afterthought, the ravioli was quite good. The sauce was well seasoned, the pasta was soft, and the cheese filling was rich and savory, a huge step up from the salad. The lemon blondie was also pretty tasty. Lemon desserts certainly aren't my thing, but putting my own preferences aside, it was a nice addition to the meal. Overall, I'd have to give this dining experience a 6 out of 10. The main and dessert were quite good, but the salad was not welcome. Had it been dressed at all, this meal would have scored much higher, but including a raw vegetable dish in an environment where passenger senses are already altered by the higher altitudes was definitely not the right call. After collecting our plates, the crew came back through the cabin with both water and orange juice, of which I chose the latter. Having wrapped up our dinner, we can pull up the entertainment screen and see what Delta has to offer. Delta's Inflight Entertainment is fairly comprehensive, with plenty of movies, including a few new releases, plus a selection of TV shows. There's also a Spotify music tab, which appears to be a relatively recent addition. Delta also includes a flight tracker on board, which shows a variety of information, plus multiple aerial views, a compass, command center, and a virtual window seat view. Before we turn in for the night, let's hop up to take a quick look at the bathrooms on board. The bathrooms on our 767 are located just in front of the exit row, which some passengers can find disruptive or unpleasant. Stepping inside, we're met with a standard but clean bathroom. There's not a ton of space in here, as to be expected, but I don't feel particularly cramped even though I'm 6'3". The sink works well with touchless activation and temperature controls. The soap is full with plenty of paper towels, toilet paper, and tissues. The toilet itself is the standard aircraft lavatory equipment, above which is the baby changing table, both of which were quite clean. Overall, the facilities aren't anything special, but its cleanliness was certainly appreciated. Returning to our seat, we can break out the blanket and get ready to catch some shut-eye. Before we do so, we can crack open the travel kit, which reveals the eye shade and earplugs, both of which will get plenty of use over the next few hours. Now comfortably reclined in our seat, we can close our eyes and get some rest. We awoke somewhere over the Atlantic the next morning, the sun beginning to peek out above the horizon. It wasn't long before the sun assumed its position above us, the clouds flying past a few hundred feet below. If you're enjoying the video so far, I would really appreciate it if you hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. It's totally free and it really helps support the channel. I also want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my patrons and channel members. If you too want your name in the video, access to exclusive weekly posts, and even the opportunity to vote on future videos, then click the links in the top right or in the description below to learn more. Breakfast was served not long after sunrise. Breakfast this morning consisted of a bowl of fruit and an egg and cheese sandwich. The fruit was fresh and the egg sandwich included a flavorful Dijon sauce which complemented the cheese quite nicely. Overall, a solid 8 out of 10 breakfast, though would have been nice with a cup of coffee. With the sun now up, we can appreciate the beautiful wing views out of our window. The UK coastline eventually rolls into view below us, the endless blue of the Atlantic now replaced by the green landscape. As we make our way down the west coast, let's take a quick look at some stats about our aircraft. Taking us to London today is November 831 Mike Hotel, one of Delta's Boeing 767-400ER aircraft delivered to Delta in September of 2000. Our 767-400 is powered by two GE CF6-80C2 engines. Each CF6 engine produces a maximum of 61,960 pounds of thrust for a combined thrust of 123,920 pounds. The Dash 400 has a total length of 201 feet 4 inches and a wingspan of 170 feet and 4 inches. Each Dash 400 has a maximum range of 5,625 nautical miles and a cruising speed of 560 miles per hour or Mach 0.85 at an altitude of 39,000 feet. Delta operates their 767-400s in a 4-cabin configuration. This configuration includes 34 Delta One suites, 20 Premium Select seats, 28 Comfort Plus, and 156 main cabin for a total of 238 passengers. Having reached the southern edge of the UK, our plane turns west for the downwind leg past Portsmouth. The westbound approach into London Heathrow is absolutely incredible. Our aircraft begins its final descent flying past London City Airport, the smallest but by far the closest of the 6 London airports. Our flight then makes its way past the Isle of Dogs and Canary Wharf, the skyscrapers standing out like a redwood forest. London Bridge is clearly visible from our approach, the center of London just beyond the banks of the Thames. The clouds soon obscure our views of downtown, but clear up as we make our final approach onto runway 27 right. After a little over 8 hours in the air, our 767 touches down at London Heathrow.
That's 5-6 years out. Yeah, I mean, he's still.
Our flight taxis around to Terminal 3's Gate 27 and we can disembark into London. The windows of Heathrow allow us to get some great looks at the aircraft that brought us here. The 767 may not be my favorite aircraft out there, but it's hard not to stop and admire a wide-body aircraft. Following the signs towards the exits, we can make our way through passport control and on to the Heathrow Express station, where we'll bring today's video to a close. Next week, we'll be back in New York City to have a full tour of Grand Central Madison, the Long Island Railroad's newest expansion into downtown NYC. If you're new around here, I would really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button down below. It's totally free and it really helps support the channel. There's a lot more incredible content on the way, so stick around if you want to see more. I also want to give another huge shout out and thank you to my patrons and channel members. If you too want your name in the video or just want to support the channel in more ways than one, then head on over to the links in the description below. But anyways, that's all I have for today. Thanks for flying with me, and I'll see you in the next one.